Good. We learned about Moses taking the Jewish people into out of Egypt. That's this whole book of Shemot. But it begins on a very sour note. It begins with the Jewish people going into Egypt. The Jewish people going into Egypt. It says these are the names of this book of Exodus is called names. These are the names of the Jewish people that went into Egypt with Yaakov. So the Midrash says this is talking about going out of Egypt. This sentence about the Jews going into Egypt is not talking about going in. It's talking about going out of Egypt. So the Rebbe asked, how can it be? The sentence says clearly these are the names of the Jewish people that are going into Egypt. And the Midrash said, no, this sentence talks about going out of Egypt. Okay, so the Rebbe says, how do you explain that? How do you explain that? So the Rebbe said, okay, and there's a story in the Talmud, and it's brought down also in the Mishnah, that the end of the story is that Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah was appointed the head of the Jewish people. He was the Nasi of the Sanhedrin. He was appointed. And on that day, the rabbi said that you must, all the days of your life have to be to bring to the days of the Mashiach. Kol yamei chayecha lavi liyamot Mashiach. Every moment of your life should be devoted to bringing to the days of the Mashiach. And who said this? Elazar ben Azariah. Elazar means God helps you, and it's the son of God helping you. Elazar means God helps. He's the son of Azar Yudke, that God helps. So God will help us, and that what we have to do is every moment of our lives, think, speak, say, feel, be devoted to bringing to the days of the Mashiach. That's the whole point of the world. Okay. Where do we get up to? Okay, so the Mishnah said, if you remember we learned this yesterday. The Mishnah said, Ben Zoma said you should talk about going out of Egypt even in the nighttime. Even in the nighttime, the Rebbe says that means even in the time of exile, and even when the Mashiach comes, we should also talk about going out of Egypt. This is why, because going out of Egypt means dealing with the world. Dealing with the world. Going out of Egypt means going out of your bad traits, going out of the negativity of the world. When Mashiach comes, we'll also have this power of defying the world. It's called Eskafia. Not to go out of the world, but to transform the world. So all of the days of your life to bring to the days of all of your power and all of your time should be devoted to the days of the Mashiach, that in the days of the Mashiach, we will do what we did going out of Egypt, namely, we will leave the bad. But we won't leave the bad in the sense that the bad will exist and we'll be separate from it. We'll relieve the world from bad. There won't be any bad in the world. We'll be able to transform the world. Oh, this is where we got up to. According to this, now we can understand what the Midrash says. These are the names of the Jewish people that went into Egypt. This is talking about the redemption. That even though simply it's talking about going into Egypt, it's really talking about going out. Why? Because that what we mentioned, talk about going out of Egypt in the nighttime, in the time of exile. This shows that the true idea of going into Egypt, going down into the darkness, into the nighttime, this really is a part of, like I said before, it's like crouching down in order to jump up higher. The Jews had to go down into Egypt. This going down into Egypt, This is an integral part. In fact, this is the whole purpose of going out of Egypt, to elevate even the lowest part. This brings to the days of the Moshiach. By thinking about Ha'inyan Hamiti, the whole true idea of going out of Egypt is Mashiach. Therefore, Al Shem Geulas Yisrael Nizkar Yisrael. Therefore, because of the redemption of the Jewish people, it's mentioned here, because the intention is that the idea of going into Egypt, the Meitzarim and Gevulos, into the world, the soul comes into the body, the Jewish people go into the world. This Po'alu, it brings about the Yigelo, and it redeems how it is, and reveals also that this is not just for the sake of the redemption. It's not just a step, like I said, but this actually is the redemption. What does it mean? That the Jewish people have to be in the world in order to elevate the world. If they didn't go into the world, they wouldn't be able to elevate it. Until this will bring the future redemption. There's other places where the Rebbe brings a different example. He said, if you want to lift something up like a car, you want to lift it up, or you lift up a house, so you have to put the jack in the lowest place of the house in order to lift it up, or the lowest place on the car to lift it up. The same thing as the Jewish people want to elevate the whole world, so they had to be in the lowest place. And to add on that the Jewish people, they went into how many people went into Egypt? It says 70 people. 70 people. We can say that this hints at the service which is even going into Egypt in the exile.
Is there anything on the screen?
You don't see anything?
Nothing.
Oh, well, that's strange. One second, 1 minute. Why is that? I don't know. Could it be your screen? I don't know. I'll stop 1 second. Here, stop the share. You see anything now?
No.
Maybe it's your screen. I hope. Huh? What is on your screen? Just a white screen?
No, you. Just you. That's it.
Oh, now you see me. Okay, now watch this. Now you see the writing? Yes?
No.
You
No.
don't see? Wow. Well,
maybe it's my thing. I don't know.
Interesting. That's the best I can do. I'm just doing the same thing I always do. Huh? I don't know. All right, but you hear what I'm saying? You just see me, huh?
I just see you, yeah.
Okay, let's see. What happens if I take me away? Let's see this. Watch this. Here we go. Watch this. What do you see now?
I see you.
You still see me. Something's wrong over
here.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Here's the print. This is what I do every time. And here we see the text, and I'm in the corner. So I don't know. But okay, we only have a few minutes. Let's just do this. Let's just do our best over here. Okay, 1 second. So the 70 people went into Egypt. This indicates that what we're in now, we're in among the 70 nations of the world. It's called the 70 nations of the world. And to Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, he was also 70 years old. And he was the one who gave the power that we could mention going out of Egypt in the nighttime. And that's what would bring to the days of the Moshiach. Namely, we could get the ayin. Ayin means the seeing God. And that's eyeball. Ayin is 70. And also in Shema Yisrael, if you look in the Torah, the letter, it's Shema Yisrael. The ayin of Shema is written big. It's called the ayin Rabasi of Kriya Shema. You talk about going out of Egypt. From this, we can understand what the rabbis say, the midrash of the Jewish people. 1 second. That the Jewish people that knew that even when they were in exile, in addition to the fact that the Jewish people will always exist, the Jewish people will always remain whole, like it's obvious. Jewish people are an eternal nation. Like it's also written in the end of Parshas Vayechi. It says that they took Yosef and they embalmed him and they put him into an ark in Egypt. This is in order that his body should remain whole. What does it mean, remain whole? That these are the names of the Jewish people in Egypt. This adds even more. Just give me 1 minute. Give me a moment over here. Give me a moment. Excuse me 1 second. I just want to look something up. 1 second, 1 minute. No, this is not, it wasn't Yosef. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. 1 second. Sometimes I just forget things. What can you do? Yeah. That's right. Good. Okay. So they embalmed Yosef. What does it mean they embalmed him? It means that his body remained whole. And that's the name of the Jewish people that went into Egypt. The Jewish people, in others, will always remain whole. They'll always remain intact, no matter what happens. And even Al Shem Geula, this is talking about the name of the redemption of the Jewish people, in addition to the fact that the Jewish people will always be whole, but not like Yosef. There'll be souls in bodies, living physically in this world, physically and spiritual together. A healthy body and a healthy body, a healthy soul inside of a healthy body, and the ultimate completion. And the Jewish people will be in a situation not just that will bring to redemption, but even more, it'll be that the Jewish people will be redeemed. That's what it means. That they'll actually be the redemption of the Jewish people actually in this physical world. Okay, this we're going to have to do tomorrow. We're going to have to continue tomorrow. Common. Okay, so now we can understand why the connection of Shemot to the 20th day of Tevet. What happened on the 20th day of Tevet? It's going to be next week. It's the day of the passing away of the Rambam. It always comes in Masechet and Shemot. And this is Erev Shabbat. Why? Because Rambam is Rabbi Moses ben Maimon. It says there was never a rabbi from Moses until like 2,000 whatever years later, 2,500 years later, there was nobody from Moses until Maimonides. There was nobody like Moses. That includes all the prophets and everything. Because he wrote the whole entire Torah, all the laws of the Torah he wrote down. And he's the only one that talks about Moshiach. The only laws about what Moshiach, there's all these different opinions. The actual factual law that no one disagrees with about Moshiach is written in the Rambam. That's the end of the Maimonides. And he is the one that gives the, legal hope to the Jewish people and clarity about what Mashiach is going to be, what Mashiach is, what we're waiting for, etc. Rama. And that's always the 20th day of Tevet. And that's connected intrinsically, of course, Mashiach is with the future redemption. What's the connection? God willing, we're going to learn about that tomorrow. Okay, now let's do the